Today I'm going to be taking you through a Betfair trading market that is sometimes overlooked, even by most of the experienced traders. It gets overlooked because it's not fast paced, you can take your time with it, and it does last over the course of a few days. So if you're new to Betfair trading, this one can be quite nice just to get into. There's no set strategies for it, it is just all about you deciding what's the best play to do yourself and looking at the market and analysing how everything's gone. And that is the specials market. Now to get to it, you're just going to come over to the exchange, of course, on Betfair. You're then going to choose football, and then you're going to choose specials down here at the bottom. There's so many different specials available to bet on. You've got the Ballon d'Or, then you also have the next manager markets, which are probably the ones you should focus on. And then you have just random ones like, will Steve Bruce be in charge on the 1st of January, or will he be relieved of his duties before the 1st of January? There are so many different opportunities you have with these markets, but it's just all about you being creative with them and knowing the actual football markets yourself. So whereas with other trading strategies, you've got to know how the teams are performing, how the teams are playing, how everything's going live in the game, everything like that. These markets, you kind of just have to know football. So for example, with the Ballon d'Or, everyone kind of knows Messi's going to win. That is why it's at such low odds. But there is also still the slim chance out there that it might be Lewandowski who takes the award because of the fact that he deserved it the year before and it got cancelled. And he still had an incredible season, something like, 42 goals in the league? Even for the Bundesliga, that's a bit crazy. So maybe it might be worth having a little bit of a play around with that one, looking at how you can extract some profit from that, seeing how the players might move. I think this will be a good market to use, but I think this market's probably better a bit earlier on, when there's a lot more debate going about, a lot more things getting thrown around, when there's some players who are closer together. Then you can really heavily start to lay and back people depending on how the rumours are going. It is a very niche market, and the one key thing to note is the rules section, just because the rules really do make a huge difference on how the outcome of your bets will go, or the outcome of your trades will go. So for example, for the avoidance of doubt, should the named club not change their manager by the specified date, then this market will be settled as no managerial change. So the specified date we have to look for January the 1st, 2022. Nice and simple there, at least now you know. This isn't just who will be the next Newcastle manager, it's by that specific date. Then is also other rules. They need to not be described as interim, caretaker or temporary. So for example, I'm pretty sure Graham Jones will probably be on this list at some point, and there he is just at the bottom. He might take charge at some point, but the chances are he will be interim, caretaker, temporary. So that is something to keep note of. The rules are very key for this market. Everything else is completely up to you. I like the next market one, or the next manager one, because of the fact that it's so heavily based on rumours, especially for the Newcastle job here. By the time this video comes out, there might already be another manager appointed, but the amount of different people who've been pushed for this, the fluctuation in the odds has been drastic. So for example, the other day, Frank Lampard was one of the favourites. You can see there, down at 4.0. He has now shot back up to not being the favourite anymore. Despite the fact nothing's come out to say he won't be Newcastle manager, it's just the fact that other people have been pushed as the rumoured candidate. You've then got people like Steven Gerrard. He was heavily pushed yet again. Then he said the other day he's probably not too interested because he's committed to Rangers. But then again, doesn't stop the market from fluctuating yet again. There are some set strategies you can use for this. You can look to take advantage of the rumours. So for example, you could stay up late one night, wait for the release of the papers, and then see what it said on them. So for example, in the papers this morning, it was all about Eddie Howe. The papers got released late last night. You could have saw that Eddie Howe was getting rumoured as the Newcastle manager. You could have backed him on this morning's time, so not too sure what he would have been this morning. In fact, you can kind of see up at close to, I'd say around 6 there. So if you'd have backed him this morning at about 6.0, maybe with about £10, and then this morning down at 5.8, yeah, it's not a huge jump or huge difference. At most, it's probably just a couple pounds profit you would have got, but it's still a bit of a handy profit you could have made. A nice, not quick profit, but just waiting for the morning's reaction to that news to extract some profit from that. The other options you've got are obviously laying the favourite as well. Eddie Howe is currently the favourite. You can see that here, 5.8 to lay him. Chances of Eddie Howe actually becoming the manager? Who knows? Everyone is getting mentioned to be Newcastle manager at the moment. If I had to guess on it, I'd say Eddie Howe probably isn't going to be Newcastle's next manager. That's just personal opinion. So maybe I'd just lay £24. And then if he doesn't become manager, £5 profit. That is another strategy, just laying the favourite. Obviously, because we're traders, we don't have to wait for the final outcome of that. We can just wait for 3 days' time for Chris Wilder to get shouted about or Thierry Henry to get recommended. This market is obviously probably a bit tricky to trade in terms of being Newcastle because of the fact there are so many different options that have been suggested. I think when there is a key favourite, such as, let's look at the Barcelona manager, you've got Xavi. He's the clear favourite to be the next Barcelona manager. He will probably be a better bet for laying the odds, despite the fact he's at the same odds for laying as Eddie Howe. It's probably easier with the Barcelona one because there's a clear favourite. Gives you more opportunity for profit, especially if them lay odds do eventually drop. But these are the markets that people don't normally consider to trade on. They're a bit longer term. You can do a bit more back-end research, and it's also based quite heavily on rumours. None of this is official club sources saying anything. If it was an official club source, then it's going to affect the whole market. It will just get cancelled because an official club source has told you who's the next manager. It is all just heavily based on rumours, Twitter, newspapers, everything like that. So if you are constantly up to date with Twitter and who's getting pushed around as a name for a new manager and who's looking like they might have a chance or might get interviewed and then miss out, this is the perfect market for you to trade. Chances are the profits are going to be quite low, but also I'd probably say with that the risk is going to be quite low as well. So this one's just a bit more of a relaxed market, a relaxed way to start getting involved with trading football. Trade the specials market, trade your Ballon d'Or winner, trade your next managers, everything like that. I mean, there was a settled market earlier on in the summer that was on first manager to leave. I think you could have always hedged your bet. Watford are in the Premier League. You know who the first manager to leave is going to be. And you would have won some money on that. But that one is just, I feel like that one, you probably wouldn't have won too much because it's Watford and it's in the Premier League. The specials are obviously something that you can do outside of football as well. There is the specials down here that include things like Strictly Come Dancing. You've got Dancing on Ice, Sports Personality of the Year, everything like that. These are all things you can trade quite freely. So for example, Emma Raducanu is favourite at the moment for the Sports Personality of the Year. You can obviously look into the rumours around everything like that. If you can find a semi-credible source out there before someone else that says she's not going to win Sports Personality of the Year, then you're in luck, because let's just even trade £4.50 on that and we'll get £50. Sometimes you can extract some real profit from these markets. It's just all about doing a bit of research and finding some sources that you might trust. Obviously, as well as the specials, there are things out there such as the outright markets that are similar in a way. For example, you've got the Championship, you've got your winner markets, your top 2 finishers, your top 6 finishers. You've got everything like that. These are markets that are a bit more longer term, and you don't have to worry so much about doing one little mistake and then your whole liability has gone, you can have a bit more of a play around with this. You can do a bit more extensive research, not rush into it. It's probably, it is a bit more of a complex market because you're going to have to create some strategies yourself, but also it's going to be a nice way to learn the markets yourself as well before you go into the quick trading and quick pace trading of actual football trading or tennis trading or horse trading. It's just a nice way to get into learning the market's patterns, learning how they work, and I'd be very interested to know down below if you guys have got any specific strategies when it comes to either the outrights or the specials markets or anything like that, because the markets I hadn't really considered before, but now that I'm looking into them, you can make quite a bit of profit from these, especially if you can get onto them quite early. So for example, if we wanted to lay Coventry for a top 6 finish, yes, they've had an incredible start to the season, but at the end of the day, it's still Coventry. They're at very low odds at the moment. We could easily put on maybe a £65 liability there, £40, 49 potential profit there. You never know, that might be a good opportunity to get that in just before they have a really tricky run of form. If they do well in that run of fixtures, then obviously, yes, you've made a mistake there. But it's also key to know that if they do well in that run of fixtures, your stake still isn't lost. You can still stick with that a bit longer. We are quite early in the season still, so some of these opportunities are at the perfect time here. You've also got teams like Reading down here and Swansea. Swansea, new manager, maybe it's just going to take a few weeks for the style to click and then it gets going. 12.5 odds for them to get top 6. If you can get that odds there now, and then they have a really good run of fixtures that are coming up that you think they're going to get points from, that's a nice opportunity there to get some profit. It's just a lot slower paced. You don't have to rush about things too much, and you can really research things a little bit more. We'll definitely do some more videos on these outrights and the specials markets. Let me know if you've got any specific strategies for them down below, and I'll be sure to give them a try because I'm very interested in hearing what you guys have got for recommendations for these markets. But thank you for watching. Hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already, but please let me know how you use these markets yourself, and we'll definitely explore some of them strategies.